Party time. Party time. Party time. Party time. Drink your drinks and eat your eats. It's party time. Laugh your laughs and heat your heats. It's party time. Smile your smiles and blue your blues. It's party time. There. Dance a dance and shoe your shoes. It's party time. Howl your howls and suck your socks. It's party time. Yeah. Oh baby, grab your craps and fuck your fucks. It's party time. Grab your craps and fuck your fucks. It's party time. Everybody. Grab your craps and fuck your fucks. It's party time. One more. Grab your craps and fuck your fucks. It's party time. Here we go. Party time. Yeah. Party time. Party time. Yeah. Party time. 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 Hey. Party time. Yeah. Party time.
Pack of talk. I've got a mouthful of food. Pack of talk.
Oh, it's muted. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the show. Where is it? Down there somewhere. There's a very tiny thing you can possibly click if your phone can pick it up.
No, I'm
Chris, that's a Substack.
I screwed it up. So, is this started at the right time? Has this started at the right time?
Ish. It's way better than last night. I mean,
Right.
the improvement.
I am in an absolute mess. I'll tell you a couple of things that happened in a minute. Right, sorry, people. I've now managed to take half a baguette in one hit. That doesn't sound great, does it?
It's a skill.
It is a skill. Right, I'm gonna try and do something here. Share screen. No, I don't want to share screen. Sorry, people. I'm not functioning on right image file. Then I'm gonna go for QR corner. But is this gonna put me and Packer out of place again? What a there you go, people. Just wave your camera over that. I thought I could just get it in the corner. Don't worry about that. We'll get rid of that. If you do want to use that one, excuse me. Links in the description. It's called how do I get rid of it? How do I get rid of it? That one. You can just go down into the description, and there you go. All this lark again is bullshit. Right, here we go, people. So this isn't going to be a very long stream. I always say that, and it always is. So don't worry about it. If it looks like I've got Harry Monk all around my throat, it's just because I just had a tuna and mayo sandwich. Right, this is what happened today then, right? Cracking stream last night. Bless you all. Bless the brick in it thing. That's great. And you know what I also felt? I've been talking about publishing and that for 9 odd years. And I thought if this new commercial novel actually does well, it would feel a little bit like I would feel like you lot have helped me, because you read my Substack, you leave comments on my Substack, you say you like them and that sort of thing. You know, it's hard being a failed writer. It's hard. It's hard when everyone's like, nah, you're shit. So if that were to happen, I'll tell you what, if I sold this new novel and I got a fair wedge, I'll throw a party in England for all the scrubs. I really will, because I owe a lot to you people. So that will definitely happen, assuming I sell the novel. So, you know, don't hold your breath. Right, I've got some cracking clips here, people. But before we, I even put the wrong video on at the beginning. I like the party time one where he's playing his piano and the cat's there and that. It was just a still image, which was a bit rubbish. But most of you know that my day job, I'm a world famous lockpicker. I know it's weird. It came from a childhood of robbing chemists. I say childhood. I mean, early 20s. I mean, you know, no one likes big pharma, so you could at least appreciate that I took a little bit back from those people. I don't know if I've told you this. Most UK pharmacies use a lock called an Adams Wright lock. And with a bit of piano wire bent in a certain way, you can just go, nah, and then help yourself to whatever they've got in the pharmacy. But I thought I'd show you a couple of little bits of lockpicking. Now, don't worry, don't get bored. Well, you can get bored if you want, obviously. But this will be about 5 minutes of the content of this stream. But I just think you might get something out of it. So I built my business on a technique called bumping. Now, let me give you the very basics of... Let me put my light on so you can see me. I feel like Packer in the dark there. Boom, that'll help the headache. Look, he's going to put his light on. Look, he ain't having it. Look, he's done it. Look, he's got himself a light. Good Lord. Maze, that's better though, isn't it, Packer? That's better. Makes us look like twins. If we were twins, Packer, who was born first?
Well, I am older and dumber.
No, you ain't, man. I'm not buying that. No one's more stupid than any other people. It's choices we make that make us appear dumber. But you're right. You are not as clever as me. Right. Right. So listen, let me tell you about bumping. Think of Newton's cradle. And I won't go on about this, people. So if you're thinking, oh, I'm not interested in this, just bear with me and then we'll move on. Think Newton's cradle. So when you pull one of those balls up and let go, it hits another one. The kinetic energy goes through all the balls, and the one on the other end of the let me get a Newton's cradle video up so you can see what I'm talking about. That's my alarm to tell me the stream's starting. It was at quarter to 12. Was that when it was meant to start? I don't know. Newton's cradle. Right, so check this out. So you'll get the idea of how kinetic energy is moved through. I don't want all these shorts, like. Right, here we go. So have a look at this, people. You can see it on the screen there. I'll get a bit of volume on it for you. So this is called Newton's cradle, sometimes called Newton's balls, which I'm not so sure that's quite a good thing. But this is how bumping works, how lock bumping works, right? Roll VT. Watch this video. I'm just assuming that they won't fuck us about. So there you go. You lift one up. See what happens there? So the energy of the one on the outside, it's the other four. The kinetic energy moves through the other four, and then the one at the end you know, it continues that energy and flies off. But right, so consider what is actually happening there, and you can do it with 2 and you can do it with 1. Right, so that is essentially the technique of lock bumping. So what lock bumping does, you have a thing called a bump key. I can show you the bump key in a minute. And a bump key is a key that instead of having a pattern on it, that is like the normal pattern of a key where it's all, you know, a key will have ups and downs, and they'll match the pin stacks. In a lock, there's like 5 or 6 pin stacks, and there's 2 pins in each stack. So when you put the right key in, it lifts up those pin stacks, and the splits in all of those pin stacks, the right key will put the splits all in the right place to allow the core to turn. So you put the key in, the gaps in the pin stacks are all lined up to where the plug and the housing meet, and you can turn it. A bump key is a key that looks like a saw. It's just up and down, up and down, up and down. And what you do with that, you put it in the lock. Each of those peaks sits in front of the bottom of the pin stack. That's called the key pin. And when you hit that bump key with a hammer, the kinetic energy goes into the key pin, hits the driver pin, that jumps up. And because you put a little bit of, you got to time it right. So you just turn the key as you strike it. And because all the driver pins have gone up, the lock opens. Now, you don't really need to know a lot about that to understand why this is remarkable. There's a thing with locks called the keyway, also known as the profile. So, for instance, a Yale 1A key will fit all the Yale 1A locks in England. A GG or a Corbin or all the different brands, the one blank, although you can cut different patterns on it, that key will fit all the locks that are designed where the keyway is designed to accept that key. Now, if you cut a bump pattern on that key, you can put it into any of those locks. Give it a little tap with a bump hammer. Back in the day, people used screwdriver handles. You know, you'd hold the screwdriver bit and you just put that little bit of turning pressure on it and it opens it. This is a video that I made 17 years ago. The audio of me talking is going to be tres embarrassing because I used to have quite the penchant for narcotics. I will play it though because I don't give a shit. But what I want you to realize is how incredible bumping as a technique is. So check this out. I bumped this Chubb lock. People think Chubb locks are lever locks because of the popularity of that brand. But Chubb is just a brand. It's just a brand that's popular. But they make pin cylinders as well as... why can't I do this, man? It just don't work anymore. Here we go. Let me know you can see this, Packer. Hang on. It will be funny listening to me, though. This is only 1.5 minute video. Check it. Can you see that, Packer? Bumping locks. This is a Chubb lock. Packer, can you see that? Or are you not even there anymore? What the hell's going on here? Has he gone? Has he just done the off? Oh, he's there. Okay. What I want to do...
I'm here. I can see it.
Yeah, you're all right. Okay. So check this out. Look how dirty my fingers are as well. That's because I was cutting bump keys all day long. So this is a Chubb lock. The key that I'm using for this is a bump key, but it will fit hundreds of thousands of Chubb locks. Now check it out. I'll pause it so you get an idea of what a bump key looks like.
One of the most frequent things people say to me about bumping locks is it's all very well in your hand, but when it comes to doing it in a door, it's a different matter. Well, of course,
So stoned.
it's a different matter. You're doing a different activity. The thing is, if you practice a different activity as much as you practice...
Yeah, all right, we get the idea. Let's crack to the chase.
It-
So there you go.
the key
That is a
I'm
bump
using.
key. Can you see that? So all the cuts, it's cut. You know, you'll never have a key like that. That all the they used to call them 999 keys because they were all cut to the lowest depths. But that ain't 999. That's probably more like a 66666, the key of the beast. But that key will open every single chub lock that it will fit into, and there's hundreds of thousands of them. And I'm not telling you this because, oh, you can go and rob houses. I'm telling you this because domestic security is an absolute sham. They know that their locks ain't fit for purpose. It's an absolute joke. And thankfully, over the last 20, 30 years of lock sport, lock manufacturers have started working with lock pickers to improve this kind of stuff. Anyway, check this out.
It's one of ours. I'm just going to move the camera display thing out of the way so I can do it. So, same principles apply. Put it in as a 6-pin lock, so I know that wants to be about there.
So what I've done, all those little peaks you saw, every one of them is now touching all the key pins, which are the bottom pin of the pin stacks in that lock. So when I strike that key, I don't know if you can see, but it says Dangerfield's UK bump keys on that key there. When I strike that, the energy will be transmitted through the key into those peaks, into the key pins. That will hit the driver pins. The driver pins will jump up, and because I put a bit of turning pressure on the key, it'll open. And it's mind-blowing.
Come down here.
Whoa.
There you go.
Whoa. I'll
Bump
do
that
it
lock.
again for you.
That's not the key to that.
And you can see when I put the key back in and turn it left and right, that key won't open that lock in the usual way. Look.
That's not the key to that. I'll do it again. Put it in. 6 pins over there.
Bosh.
We do some more.
And that, people, is bumping locks. And I'll tell you now, the majority of you people will have a lock on your front door that I can bump. And not just me, hundreds of thousands of people who know how to bump locks. It's shocking. Mark Tobias just released a book called Insecurity Engineering. And it's about how lock manufacturers, they design locks knowing they're not fit for purpose. There's another thing in the lockpicking world called, what's it called? Security via obscurity. The idea that, well, you've paid 60 quid for a lock. It's bound to do that. And don't forget, locks are what separate your family, your possessions, your children, your wife, your house from the outside world. And when you can open a lock that easily, it's an absolute racket. It's a scam. And if you think you can spend, there was a very famous story, the Cabba Simplex story. It was a 500 quid lock, push button lock that people would use on server rooms and that. Get a rare earth magnet, put it on it, turn it, lock opens. And they ended up in court because they knew that was a vulnerability that you could exploit. Now I'm going to show you another technique. This is my this isn't a lockpicking stream, people, and this video is only like a minute long. Here's a technique called impressioning, and this is my favorite of all. I'm not very good at it. The two techniques I'm known for in the world of lockpicking is raking and bumping. I can impression locks, but it can take me 20, 30 minutes. This is how it works. Yeah, but Anglo sledgehammers do work, but the thing about lockpicking is it's non-destructive entry. You know, if you use a sledgehammer, you're going to go to prison. You know, I know you're only making a joke at that, but with non-destructive entry, when the old bill turn up, the forensics are almost completely absent. And also, if you're a locksmith, if you're a locksmith and someone says, "Can you get me in my house? I've locked my keys in my house," you don't really want to sledgehammer their door open, do you? Now, listen to impressioning. You get a blank key that fits the lock. You get a thing called a key grip. You can use mole grips. I don't like using mole grips because the key tends to move a bit. You put the blank key in it, you put it in the lock, you turn it left and you go up and down a bit. You turn it right, you go up and down a bit. Then with an illuminated magnifier, you look at the key and there'll be these very, very slight, almost, you almost can't see them, impressions. Then you get a Glardon velour-based Swiss number 4 cut file, and you just take a little bit off of all those impressions. Put the key back in the lock, turn it left, up and down, turn it right, up and down, back under the magnifier, take a little bit more off, right? This video I'm about to show you, this geezer is a friend of mine, Joss Wayers. He's the world champion impressioner. And he's doing this lock out of the box. He'd never seen it before. It's only a minute long. But think about it, people. Not only do you open the lock, but you get a working key. That, to me, that's mind-blowing. So let's have a look at this. Like I say, it's under a minute long, which kind of gives the game away in terms of how long it's going to take him to do it. I'll give you a little bit of a commentary. So he's just preparing the key because you want the top of the blade of the key to have a nice surface to pick up the impressions. So he's just doing that. Into the lock, wiggle it, like I said. Look for the impressions. Okay, got one there. Get the old Swiss number 4 file. Put it back in the lock. A bit more wiggle. Couple more impressions on the key. Get the Swiss number 4. Put it back in the lock. Is there any more impressions on there? Yes, there are. Give that a go. Put it in the lock. It would appear there's one more there, maybe 2. Stick it in the lock and it's open. 52 seconds. He's opened your lock and he's got a key for it. Incredible. And I'll tell you now, people, locks aren't fit for purpose. Not only domestic but commercial as well. You know, I've got friends who do red teams, which is where a corporation say, "Can you see if you can get into our corporate building? Can you get into our server rooms? Can you get past security?" Like you can open some doors by blowing a vape through the middle of the door because it sets off the motion control and it just opens because it's a fire hazard. You know, things like that. Put a hard hat on and an eye, you can just walk through past security. Yeah, I've got to check the server rooms, and when they're in there, they take photos and all that. And the thing is, all the CEOs and the CFOs say, "Nah, this ain't going to happen. This ain't going to happen with you won't get in ours." And of course, it's a piece of piss because domestic and corporate security is it's security by obscurity, and it's what's the other one I said? Insecurity engineering. Anyway, I thought you might find that interesting. If you're interested in lockpicking, ping me an email. I'll help you out. I can do your discounts and things and freebies. If you've donated, I'll happily do your freebies and that. Right, now we've got another Warren Smith video. It's a weird one because it's Warren Smith and Asmongold, weirdly. I mean, never the twain shall meet, but there you go. Let's remember the grift, people. You've got super chats at the bottom of the YouTube. You've got entropy at the top of the YouTube. You've got buy me a coffee. The link is in the description after all the AI nonsense. I would appreciate it because I appreciate it, because this is part of how I earn a living. It's an absolute pleasure to do. So what we've got here, we've got a vox populi. We've got a woman in the street and she's stopping people to talk to them and get an understanding of what they think. You know, just let's have a conversation. You might disagree with me, I might disagree with you, but, you know, let's debate things. Warren Smith from the Secret Secular Society puts his tuppence worth in. I'll put my tuppence worth in. And, I'll have to put my headphones in. Sorry, people. Let me just see if this has worked. That hasn't worked. 1 second, people. Packer, say something, mate. Anything. Packer, what do you make of that impression in?
Oh, it's mental. That makes me feel really safe, Chris. Thanks for all of that. I'd seen the bump key thing before. I'd seen you do that. But I hadn't seen that guy cutting a key in 52 seconds. That's stupid.
Years ago, UK Bump Keys, my company, we put on an impressioning workshop, and I see Ollie and Joss impressioning locks out of the box that people brought to the workshop in 42, 41 seconds. And it was like, wow. And they can do car locks, they can do dimple locks, you name it, anyway. Yeah. I mean, thieves don't tend to use locks to get in. What's the point of being non-destructive when you can just put a window through? It doesn't make sense. We supply the police and first responders and all that. And every time I talk to them, they're like, in 30, 40 years on the job, I've never known someone to use a lockpick. In fairness, vehicle theft often uses lockpicks. So I think it's only fair that I suggest that. Let me just try and rack up. Right, we should be all right now. Okay, so here we go. Why is it like that? That doesn't seem right.
You got a super chat, Chris.
Super chat. No way has someone opened the grift. That's incredible. Ravenscroft. Brian, do you want to? Is that for the wall? Is that for another brick in the wall, Brian? I don't know if you were here yesterday, but for 20 quid, you get your name etched in a brick in the house in the province. Let me know if you want that. Let me know if you just want Brian Ravenscroft or anything. Let me know in another message. You don't have to do a super chat. Packer, keep an eye out for Brian, see if he says anything. But if you want that, Brian, that's what you get for 20 quid. Scores on the doors. I told my missus earlier about this because I didn't ask her, and she was like, what? I said, look, just ignore it. So, good old Brian Ravenscroft.
Anything you like, Brian, written on this brick.
Yeah, you can have anything you want. Nothing too sort of rude, but no one out there speaks English apart from me and my missus. So, you can say whatever you want. Did Brian already say anything he wants?
Nothing's moved, no.
Ravenscroft has been on the firm for 55 months as well. You've been here longer than that, Brian. I ain't having that. I ain't buying that. Brian, let me know what you want on your brick, if anything, and I'll make that happen. Oh, excuse me. Ollie No Comply says, what's on the scores, Miss Ford? I haven't got a clue what that means, but I like it. Brian says, okay, is the brick big enough? Yeah, I can get Brian Ravenscroft. Yeah, of course. All right, Brian. I'll have Brian Ravenscroft. Not a problem. Nice one. A Prasha Kanatu. Right. So, people, we've got a Vox Populi. We've got a woman, and it's a pro-life activist. She doesn't want to kill babies. And, contentious conversations are the ones that you should have. You know, you shouldn't have conversations like, what's your favorite color? The contentious, you know, when it comes to killing children, killing babies, have those conversations. Let's see if we can both learn something. So there you go. Brad has opened up another one. You think I'm giving you cash after you revealed to the world how to get in my back door? Can you send one of your lockpicks to Henry? I actually do get the joke there, Brad. I thought maybe, I don't know, if you can get me his address, I'll do it. And I said, Brad wants you to break into his back door. Nice one, Brad. Don't forget, people, Brad's got a Substack and it's actually fucking interesting. He done a thing about the old Mockneys, and you might have saw my comment on that, Brad. Nice one, Bradley. Aprasha Kanatu. Right, here we go, people. So there's a pro-life woman, and she's just talking to people in the street. It's only a 7-minute video, so, you know, let's watch this and let me know what you think. Again, if you're like, you keep interrupting it too much, I have to, people. It's part of how YouTube works. You might notice something about the people talking, but here we go.
Who decked a pro-life activist?
Oh, hang on! I don't want to ruin the. Right, here we go. Look, two very happy people having a little chat in the street. What could possibly go wrong?
I love your skin tone too.
She seems to be even into the conversation.
Such a good vibe. Of course. Well, awesome. So
Is that a proper audio good one and everything, people? We all good? Shaniqua, it's got to be in it. Toffee says low impulse control in one video. Well, you've seen it, Toffee, so there you go. Anyway, crack on.
We're asking people's opinion today on Planned Parenthood. Are you familiar with them?
yes.
It's really interesting to look at the point where it takes a turn and try and identify what's going on there.
Okay.
Safe abortions.
Okay.
Yes.
And I would suggest that Warren misses the point where it starts going wrong, and I will point that out.
Do you know any other services that they provide?
I know, like, to teens, if you're under 18, you could get.
Whoa, did you see that? Planned Parenthood kills an average of 1,076 babies a day.
Services that they provide?
I know, like, to teens, if you're under 18, you could get, like, birth control, condoms.
She seems normal, level-headed, but that's what's kind of scary about this is that you can't see it coming and it can flip so quickly.
Is this like a yes or no? Am I
It's
wrong?
your opinion.
But yeah, that is definitely my opinion.
For some reason, certain topics, and this is one of them, unfortunately.
Some women just don't have it in them and they abandon them and abuse them and all kind of shit. And it's like, girl, just get rid of it if you know you're going to do that.
Get rid of it.
Can we just listen to what she said then? Some people are going to abuse and abandon their children. So if you're going to be like that, just get rid of them. I mean, if you think you're going to abuse your child, I mean, don't get rid of it. Get some fucking help.
And why not just give them to another family that's good?
All right, this is where it starts to kind of turn.
Do you know that Planned Parenthood gets nearly $700 million of our taxpayer money every year?
700 million. I mean, honestly, I can't go against Planned Parenthood. I just can't.
At this point, she starts dropping facts on her.
And when she says, I can't go against Planned Parenthood and their 700 million taxpayers' dollars, it's conjecture, but I'm guessing she had an abortion.
$700 million for how many single mothers?
Of our money. But they're not giving it to single mothers, though. Yeah.
I mean, if we're going to just, single out where it is that our tax dollars go, then the police, respectfully.
Yeah, sure. Fuck the police. I mean, if we're gonna, 700 million for abortions is quite a lot of money. But if we were to fuck the police, we'll save a fortune, and then we can use that to kill kids.
Fuck the police. I'm not sure what that means.
Red flag 1.
Why are they getting so much more money yet all of their services are going down?
Right, this is where for me it's already taken a turn. Look at the woman on the left. Her face is hateful. Now, I know a lot of you don't buy my body language and my psychoanalysis, but the hand up to the left, when you get an hand up there, that's in preparation for a strike. Look at her face, that's hateful. And I'm not. It's not just a quick freeze frame. I'll play it again so you can see.
That means.
Why are they getting so much more money yet all of their services are going down?
The services are going down because people are afraid. Women.
What are they afraid of?
Women don't know. They don't know what they're exposing their bodies to. A lot of people, especially behind abortion, there's a stigma.
But their abortions are going up. So they used to have this slogan where they said, safe, legal, and rare. That's what we want.
Seems reasonable. I don't think it matters what I think. I'm going to be looking at this objectively at the moves being made.
Safe, legal, and rare abortions until it was exposed that a lot.
At this stage, the woman on the left is not listening. She's preparing her own comebacks, not based on what the woman on the right is saying. She's just preparing what she's preparing what she wants to say that has nothing to do with what the woman on the right, whether you agree with her or not, she's making premises and not premises. She's putting forward ideas which in a normal conversation you'd respond to. The woman on the left, I nearly said something else then. The woman on the left is already very hateful of her, and she just wants to now impose her belief system. And a belief system is not critical thinking. Belief systems completely consume your identity, and that's not the same as critical thinking. Critical thinking deals with the specificities of the situation and the conversation at hand. Belief systems are what you walk around the world imposing it on people and largely ignoring them. And this has already changed for me. There's a bit in a minute where the woman on the left takes a massive, big, she takes a real deep breath, and that's always a sign that something not good is going to happen.
A lot of these facilities were requiring abortion quotas. So the more abortions each facility did, the more praise that they would get. They would get awards.
I don't know if that's true, but if that's true, I would agree that's definitely alarming.
How many people can you think, or are you going to assume, would literally abandon their children with no repercussions from the state?
No, it's called safe haven baby boxes. We're at a fire station or hospital. You can leave your baby and the mother doesn't have to do anything with it. But that's better than killing her baby through abortion, right?
No, ma'am.
Right.
It's not better to...
No, ma'am. And watch where this goes. This will blow your mind. I am going to spoiler alert here because I want you to see it. In a minute, the woman on the left suggests that children who were born and the mother doesn't want them should be killed. I'm not talking about an abortion. I'm talking about murdering a young child.
Baby up to a family who wants them instead of killing them?
No, ma'am. I have seen so many stories and countless, literally countless stories.
What happens in an abortion?
They literally suck the life out of you. They're going to take the whole baby out. And as they should, because I shouldn't be a taxpayer paying child support.
She's starting to get heated right here.
And food stamps and WIC.
But you should be a taxpayer paying for abortions?
Exactly. But
that's an interesting point. Well, I don't want to pay for this, but I'm willing to pay for that. Interesting.
As for a woman who didn't want the baby in the first place, that doesn't make sense to me.
Well, you could not have sex if you didn't want the baby, or I don't know. It's a long shot, but maybe use some kind of protection if you don't want a baby. I mean, I know it's a high IQ consideration, but
don't ever sit here and lock yourself down with a man who already told you he doesn't want to be with you. I
agree with you.
Wise.
Yeah, well, in that case, don't have a child with him. And why are you having sex with a man who says he doesn't want a child and he doesn't want to be with you? That is absolute submissive. You don't like me, you don't want a child, but yeah, I guess you can fuck me because I've got daddy issues and maybe you'll like me for 5 minutes.
Words. I agree with you there. That's a completely separate issue, though.
I'm not disagreeing with you either. I understand.
You don't get to kill the baby just because their dad didn't want them.
You can.
Should we kill the kids in foster care?
Why not?
There you go, people. Let's just hear that again. Shall we kill the kids in foster care? Why not? I mean, just consider the morality of this woman. Should we kill kids in foster care? You know, you're talking 3, 4, 5, 6 years old. Why not? And her reason she says why not is because she doesn't want to pay for those.
Just because their dad didn't want them.
Can.
Should we kill the kids in foster care?
Why not? Why not, if that's the case?
This is where it gets crazy. Should we kill the kids in foster care? Why not? Surely she's not saying kill kids in foster care. That would be deranged.
No, that is what she's saying.
We should kill the kids in foster care that aren't wanted?
Who's going to take care of them?
I guess she is. Wow.
I need to know the percentage of people.
Right, interesting now that she's speaking to camera because she's already, she can't keep up with, you know, whether you agree with the other woman or not, the woman on the left can't keep up with her level of argumentation because she's not as bright as her. So she's now appealing to the cameraman, which is another way of saying she's appealing to people who are going to watch this.
Who take children from foster care and abuse them and molest them.
Things took a turn when Craven asked whether foster kids should be killed because they're not wanted, and Rivers responded, why not? Wait a minute.
We should just kill them.
Statistics before you come to me talking about pro-life.
We should kill the victims of molestation.
I think
it's a great comment because she said, you know, these kids in foster care, and I've had plenty of friends grow up in care, and yes, I don't know what it's like these days, but in the 70s and 80s, they were sexually abused, they were neglected, they were physically abused. It's a fucking horrible place to live. Pretty much everyone I know grew up in foster care was sexually abused and beaten on the regs.
What does this have to do with molestation?
And now, and that woman said what? So not only are they abused, but then we should kill them. And at this point, the woman on the left is feeling stupid. She's realized in her social groups, and you know, we find social groups of people that agree with us. We tend not to hang around with people that don't agree with us, but she's actually being questioned now and she doesn't like it. Her body language, her demeanor, the way she's just talking over her, the way she's talking to the camera, this isn't boding well.
Yeah, you just claimed that was justification to end their life because they're going to go out and be adopted and be molested.
You just mentioned people molesting children. We should kill the kids in foster care is what you said.
What I'm saying is in general, overall. If I don't want to have a baby, I should have the choice to.
Just don't have sex then. Just don't have sex.
That's not even logical.
It is.
The thing about that is it is absolutely logical. If you don't want children, don't have sex. That's logic 101. And again, looking away from if ever you're in a conversation with someone and they look away like this, I would suggest leaving. I would suggest just forget about it because this only goes one or two ways from here.
To be fair, that is logical, even if you disagree with the approach.
It is.
Who are you, Nancy?
I sound dumb.
And now she's cursing her.
I sound dumb as okay.
It does, because even as teens, people explore. And it's like, as funny as you want to be, people should still have the choice.
So you went from saying that my outfit was really cute to saying...
Right, she was about to leave then, and, well, I think we all know what's going to happen next.
I'm an effing idiot. That's so mean.
But I think that your point of view is very obstructed, and I think that you just don't understand the magnitude of having a child.
Yeah, well, I'm not the one who admitted they would be okay with killing babies.
So this is the point where it's a guess, but I'm guessing that the woman on the left has had at least one, maybe two abortions. She might have grown up in care. There's a lot of trauma in this woman, and she's now feeling like she's being attacked, although she isn't. The other woman is putting forward logical arguments that she is challenging her, but you'd assume she's an adult and that she can be challenged. You don't get to stop to talk to someone in the street and just have a fucking sausage party where they're all agreeing, and she's not gonna tolerate it.
This is where it's going to go crazy because she's starting to make her look foolish here.
I'm not the one
No, she's making herself look foolish.
who admitted they would be okay with killing babies in foster care and killing children that have been abused.
That's not the point. What I'm saying.
That's really.
And there you go. She smashes her, knocks her to the ground. Now, I'll show you in a minute because it's very interesting, because the cameraman follows the aggressor now and she calls him a racist. And this is what has happened in America at the moment. You know, anything where they get to look stupid, they will play the race card. It's ridiculous. And when you get back to this woman who just took a punch in the face, she smashes her eye to pieces. You know, I would hope that this woman ended up going to prison for ABH or GBH, whatever it is in America. But yeah, watch her call the cameraman racist. And she walks off, she flips the V's, if I remember rightly.
Dang, well, that just came out of no.
We'll have a little look at that again, because, you know, it doesn't come out of nowhere. She's been feeling attacked. It's tapping into things in her past, and you know, when you've got low impulse control, when you're not that bright, you strike out. It's all you can do. How dare you embarrass me? I'm going to punch you.
Point. What I'm saying.
That's really.
Dang, well, that just came out of nowhere. All right.
It didn't, Warren.
Right.
What's wrong with you?
You have
I know the audio's not great, but listen out for it. You'll hear it.
Oh my God.
And this gets interesting because the guy with the camera, I guess is this woman's husband, follows her. And what does she do?
I mean, look at her. Look, yeah, I won. I'm a winner. Here's the finger, and check this out. Look, she's proud, because that's the sort of thing that gets kudos, dare I say it, in the hood.
He attacked my wife.
Your wife just attacked me.
Said, y'all racist attacked me. Interesting.
Your wife just attacked me.
Okay, so looking back at this, where does it go wrong? Do we have any body language lead up? I mean, there's no indication of this.
No, there is. She takes a massive deep breath, and the way she looks at her, come on, Warren, you're missing that.
Coming at all. It's literally mid-sentence.
Foster care and killing children that have been abused.
That's not the point. What I'm saying.
That's really.
She starts to follow up that statement and just decides, boom, no, I'm just going to hit her. It's like the emotion just takes over.
And then she started throwing hands because she got her feelings hurt because she got made to look stupid. And I
Exactly that, Asmongold.
can tell probably a person like this probably gets made to look stupid a lot. I got a feeling that this is not the first time that
I mean, look at her parading as if she's a winner, when in truth, she's an absolute loser.
somebody's made her look stupid.
I think it was just a checkmate there when she points that out. I don't know if she actually meant that or if that was kind of a slip of the tongue, because it's such a crazy thing to say. Then she gets trapped by that statement.
Hey, let's not forget, this is the woman that said kids in foster homes should be killed. It's absolutely insane. Where are we going here? John Fused said, when does the brick in the wall offer end? Well, the house will be in about, I imagine the missus thinks we'll start building it in about a year. I mean, there is financial issues. We can't just put it up now. But yeah, so there you go, John. But it does have to be a one-off 20. You can't do a pound, and when it gets to 20, just simply because logistically I can't keep hold of that. But yeah, you got plenty of time, John. Thanks for that donation as well, mate.
And I think that is what triggers this lash out.
Rivers wrote in a Facebook post, so she even goes and puts out a Facebook post. I will not allow my image to be defamed.
Right, hang on. This is what the aggressor put on Facebook, right? I'll just take it back so you can hear the whole thing. It's incredible. Look at the what's the word I'm looking for? Sorry, I haven't slept.
Delusion.
The difference between what happened and her interpretation of events.
Facebook post, so she even goes and puts out a Facebook post. I will not allow my image to be defamed by this woman's actions. Anyone who knows me knows how respectful I am. I don't even litter. There's no way you believe I'm punching people for disagreeing with my POV.
This is an extreme form of a shutdown. Usually it's just quitting mid-sentence, walking away. Be careful out there. This is what can happen.
She just punched me in the
Wait till you see this bird's eye, man.
face. We were just doing a street interview with my camera and everything was fine for over 20 minutes or however long we were filming, and then she just punched me in the face. Oh my.
I mean, look at it. You know that bone just above your eye, it's just cracked to pieces. That's going to require stitches, and I hope she sues that woman all the way to the welfare that she hasn't got. What a horrible situation. What just ridiculous. And I'm not quite into Warren there saying be careful out there, people, because these are kind of outlier situations, but nonetheless, learn to read people. When you're having a debate with someone, yes, you have to concentrate on what you're saying, but always keep an eye on how they're behaving. And there's nothing wrong with saying, you know what, I think just lie. And it's not a lie as in bullshitting, but you can just sort of say, look, I think we've reached an impasse here. Thanks for talking to me. Suddenly praise them. Thanks for talking to me. You've been very interesting. You had, you made some great points, and I'll see you later. Because if you can see that, there was one bit, I missed it when we were watching it, when she takes a real deep breath. And, there's a reason we take deep breaths, because we want to get oxygen in our blood, because our adrenaline is going crazy. And when she starts looking at the camera, that is a way of demeaning the person talking to you, which is a way of saying, I don't really care much for you anymore. You're shit. And if someone's saying you're shit, if someone's taking a deep breath, if someone's as mad as to say they want to kill 3, 4, 5-year-old kids in care homes, yeah, get out of there. Get out of there. Nuts. Absolute nuts. What do you make of that, Packer? Let's see what the scrubs have had to say about all that.
Well, she was quite loony from the moment she said that. You just thought, oh, what?
She was all right up until that, yes, we should kill actual children. If you think abortions are all right, that's okay. I mean, I don't, but if you do, that's a conversation we can have, and I think an important one. But as soon as you say, yeah, we should just, this is like the stuff of communists. This is the stuff of psychopaths, of serial killers, essentially. And it's time to kind of get out of there. Grego says, oof. JP says, fucking hell. Cognitive dissonance, yeah, a fair amount of that. Anglo says amateur, left jab or hook first. Yeah, but the thing is though, Anglo, that the other woman, I'm guessing, wasn't a fighter. And as soon as she saw that she could get one in, it don't really matter. Bang, it wasn't like the other woman had her guard up. So, I don't know. Absolutely mad. Yes, a punch in the eye can be lethal. I mean, if you're in a fight and you punch someone in the eye, most people who know who've ever had fights, you've only got to put one eye out of if you put one eye out, the other eye doesn't tend to work either. So they suddenly can't see. And the last thing you want to be is in the street with a psychopath without being able to see properly. You know, get out of there. It's shocking. Right. Packer, can you hold on to the stream while I have a little Jimmy Riddle?
Can we see you through that window? Make sure we can't.
Yeah, no, you'll be all right. It's the toilets at the other end of the house.
Oh, right, okay. What's behind that glass then? I thought that was the toilet.
No, that's the bedroom.
Oh, is it now?
Yeah.
Yeah, I ain't got much to say. It's lovely to see you all, though.
Packer, read out some of the comments.
Right. Also, a blow on the nose can make someone tear up when unable to see. Shady times. They usually stab you nowadays. Lucky it was only a punch, mouse cat. That's true. I mean, you know, normally, videos you see of that certain percentage of Americans falling out with each other in the street doesn't end that well.
No, I think she got off pretty good actually, because she could have ended up on the deck with, you know, her head stamped on.
Yeah, what he said.
Very quiet, Packer.
I am very quiet. Yeah, sorry, Chris. I'm just sitting here reading the chat. John Palmer wants me to dance. It's not happening. Never going to happen. You can't get me drunk enough to dance, John.
I bet you can.
Can I sing? No. No, I think we all know I've been here long enough that if I did have any talents, someone would have noticed by now. something would have shone through.
Mate, you've got plenty of talents. That's why everyone loves having you here. Oh, I've left my water out there. Sorry. Hang on. You'll have to carry on saying nothing, Packer.
The wife says my main talent is sarcasm.
I know, I heard her. I can hear her laughing now. I tell you what, though, Packer, that's the difference between you and me. Brad put a 5 spot, I think, in the buy me a coffee, and he said, "Now go on, dance, monkey," or something like that. Yeah, straight away I done it. I went, here we go. 5 as a fiver. Right, here we go, people. I've got another one. Hang on, what one am I going to do next? I want to sort of break it up a little bit. Yeah, this is an interesting one. It is another Warren Smith one. I hope he doesn't mind. I've got an horrible feeling that Warren Smith's one day going to say to me, "Can you just stop making videos out of my videos?" Where is it? Here we go. So this is interesting. It's a little bit hard to follow because of the way Warren edited it. So Warren was on the Joe Rogan show. Oh, it would appear I've got another donation. That's amazing. The grift has been shocking recently, but I know everyone's broke. JP on the firm, 43 months. It's been longer than that, John. We know that. I do understand, though. Grego says, "Danger always streams at tea time. It's most inconsiderate for my chat access." Sorry, Grego. Not sorry. Sorry, not sorry. Here we go. Check this out. Warren was on Joe Rogan. Again, it's only 8 minutes. With my interruptions, it'll be about 10 minutes. But this is very interesting. I think you're going to enjoy this one, and it might not go where you think. So here we go. Warren Smith, Joe Rogan, some black fella and absolutely shattering the narrative.
Story of Roland Fryer.
Can you hear that? Could you hear that? Oh, Jay Palmer says, why no shirt? And you know what, Jay? I had it all wrapped up as well. Hang on. I had it all prepared. Where's that gone? Hang on, John. Good memory. Well done. Here we go. I mean, the shirt's dirty as hell, but I don't think you'll be able to notice how dirty it is on the stream. Let's get the old cravat on first. New and Lingwood.
Dressing like a gentleman with Chris.
You've got to wear a cravat though, haven't you? Fucking great, especially out here, because one of the reasons Englishmen wear cravats is because it stops your collars getting filthy. And out here with all the sweat, it's absolutely perfection. I'll have to turn that fan up a bit though. Right, check this out, people. It's very interesting. Excuse the... we've got another donation. Amazing. Anglo-Saxon says gay. What, a cravat and a shirt? Fucking English style, man. Right, here we go. Let's just get a bit of that puffed out there. Lovely. Right, so let me just get this last super chat in. I'll check the old entropy, but I don't know if entropy is working. If someone wants to test it with like £500 or something, that would be good. What have we got? That was JP's. 2 Bond, where's the shirt? What's that one? Have we done John's? All right, here we go, people. So, roll VT.
Let's get to explain why he went into hiding.
He conducted a study.
I said,
so you have to listen to what they say, people, because it's not Warren's best edit job, but the black fella conducted a study. And before he conducted the study, he had his bias. He assumed he knew what it was going to say. But when he looked at the evidence, when he got the data points, well, with unpredictable results, shall we say.
This is the remarkable story of Roland Fryer.
Let's get to explain why he went into hiding.
He conducted a study.
I said, this is going to be the easiest paper I ever write. I'm going to go get some data. I'm going to go show that the police are biased.
The findings did.
So there you go. This geezer's he's gonna produce a paper. He's gonna go and get because he's heard the narrative, because he's grown up with the narrative, because CNN have talked about the narrative, because universities maintain and protect the narrative. He kind of assumed, well, I'm gonna write a paper about police bias against black people. This is going to be a piece of piss. I'll get some evidence, and we'll see what happens.
Not match the story that people wanted to be true.
And there you go.
Biased.
The findings did not match the story that people wanted to be true.
So when he started his research, he realized that the evidence and the data did not match the narrative. Narrative, what we mean by narrative is a collection of stories. And when you question those stories, you therefore question the narrative. Oh, nice one, AAA. You'll get your video reply later. Much appreciated. It was great having you on yesterday as well. It's always nice when new people come on. And after me and Packer have a little debriefing after the show, and he said it was good to have you on. So yeah, much appreciated, mate. You'll get your video reply later. And thanks for coming on yesterday as well.
Harvard.
We saw some bias in the low level.
Sorry, people, I just talked over it. This geezer, this fella who said this is going to be the easiest paper I've ever written, he's at Harvard Do you remember when the Ivy League, your Yales and your Harvards, these were like your Stanfords, these were the top universities in America. And this geezer was at Harvard and he thought, this will be a piece of piss.
That people wanted to be true at Harvard.
So we saw some bias in the low-level uses of force, every day pushing up against cars and things like that. People seem to like that result. But we didn't find any racial bias in police shootings.
So he entered the story believing that police are inherently racist. He already had the story in his mind.
Now, that was really surprising to me because I expected to see it. I don't like the police very much. I don't.
What happens when the...
Isn't that interesting? I don't like the police. I don't. And yet the evidence doesn't support why he doesn't like the police. I mean, maybe he just doesn't like authority. I mean, I don't like the police, but I fucked about an hell of a lot. I broke the law a hell of a lot. I don't like the police because they cause me loads of problems. I used to be a drug dealer. I don't like the police. Do I like the police now? Not really, because they're Keir Starmer's authoritarian black shirts. But it's interesting that this bloke says, I don't like the police. And yet, when he looked into it,
the actual data is stacked up against the stories we believe. Well,
and I went to go give it, and my God, all hell broke loose.
Which caused him to literally go under police protection, like a 1-year-old he had at the time. Because there are essentially stories that we cannot question. And he chose one and did. And this is what happened.
So just to summarize, and not because I keep interrupting, but because I think Warren's editing isn't great here. This Harvard professor thought, I'll do a paper about police bias against blacks. He looked at the evidence. It didn't correspond to the narrative. And the people at Harvard were like, no. And he was like, how about yes? Because I'm looking at the pursuit of truth, not the pursuit of maintaining leftist narratives. And he ended up in fucking police protection. And fair play to him, because Harvard, and you know, that's his job, his tenured fucking, I don't think he got tenure, but that's his future. If you get chucked out of somewhere like Harvard because you went against the narrative, you ain't getting another job as a lecturer, not a chance, maybe in another country.
People lost their minds. I mean, it was like...
He says the colleagues told him, don't publish this, warning, you'll ruin your career.
I had colleagues take me to the side and say, don't publish this. You'll ruin your career.
Do you understand, people, how insane that is? This is Harvard. It's an institution where people learn, where people teach, where people are they're engaged in the pursuit of truth and honesty. And he done that. He went in biased. He admitted that, but it didn't correlate. What he found didn't correlate with the narrative. He told his lecturers, he told his peers, and they said, don't publish it. Don't challenge the narrative because you'll never work again. I'll take it back a bit. It's fucking shocking.
Don't publish this. You'll ruin your career.
Because people do not like it when they are emotionally attached to a story that is essential to the foundation of how they think. And
it's not just that they're emotionally attached to the narrative. It's because the narrative, it works for them. It gives them affirmative action. It lets them not get sentenced to large prison terms. It allows them to, you know, they're elevated in society based on nothing. You know, it's a grift. So don't you dare publish that, because our group of people do well out of it. Yes, there's an emotional relationship to it, but also don't you dare bite the hand that feeds us. That's essentially what it is.
Actual data claiming that story you believe with so much certainty is wrong, not just like sort of wrong, but very wrong.
I said, what are you talking about? I said, what's wrong with it? Do you believe the first part? Yes.
because the first part fits within the larger story they already believe to be true.
Do you believe the second part?
And the first part being that the police in America are biased against blacks, and they all went, yeah, no, we believe that. And then he done his research, he got the evidence, and he said, do you believe the second part?
Sad, man.
Well, the issue is they just don't fit together.
The world is so much more vastly complicated, I think, than
They don't fit together. Amazing. What you're actually saying is it contradicts your assumption. Data, evidence, proof contradicts your assumptions.
human psyche can really easily comprehend. So we reduce it down into stories. The media tells stories, and that ties into the sponsor of today's video, Ground News. Ground News.
Yeah, we won't be watching that, but check out Ground News. It's pretty cool, in fairness.
Plan for just $5 a month. So it's a handy tool, how best to navigate those stories. That's where Ground News comes in.
I said to them, if the second part showed bias, do you think I should publish it then? And they say, yeah, then it would make sense.
Because then it would fit within the larger story that they want to be true.
And it would keep the money flowing in, and the affirmative action and the artificial elevation of a certain group.
I said, I guarantee you I'll publish it. We'll see what happens.
Fair play. Absolute respect to you, my friend.
Right.
For releasing findings that contradict popular left-wing narratives on policing.
And he said, I'm going to do it anyways.
Yeah.
It was a 104-page dense academic economics paper with a 150-page appendix.
And this is about data. It's not about opinion. He was simply observing what the data indicated.
An empirical analysis of racial differences in police use of force.
Black people are 13% of the population, and they are 50% of the police shootings.
Whoa. That's an ADL hate crime. You can't say that. I mean, I suppose you're black, so you can probably get away with it, but careful, tread carefully.
I'm sorry about that, but I don't know what that has to do with the question. I had 8 full-time RAs that it took to do this over nearly a year.
An RA is a research assistant. So these are usually graduate students.
I hired 8 fresh ones and redid it.
So what you're saying there, because I was an RA when I was on my master's degree. So if you've got people doing doctorates, which is a PhD, they need researchers. And so they come to the master's degree students and say, look, can you research this for me? Can you research this for me? And you do it because you want to sort of, get in with them. It's a privilege to be asked. They assume that you can do good research, and so you do it. And so this fella done that. He got his evidence, he got his data points, he got his legal precedents. And when it didn't correlate with the first bit, the assumptions, the opinions, when it actually became scientific, it didn't correlate. And as he said there, and we'll take it again, he got another group of research assistants, and with predictable results, the same.
Graduate students.
I hired 8 fresh ones and redid it to make sure. People lose their minds when they don't like the result. It was posted for 4 minutes when I got my first email. This is
So this indicates that people did not even read it before responding.
And I wrote back, how'd you read it that fast? That's amazing. You are a genius. People lost their minds. I mean, it was like colleagues of mine.
I can't remember exactly what he said, but he said something like it was a 400-word dissertation with 300 pages of footnotes or whatever. And within 4 minutes, people were saying this is bullshit, simply because they realised very early on. In an academic essay, it goes right back to the sort of Socratic thing. You have a premise, then you have a hypothesis. You have a thesis, a hypothesis, a synthesis, and a conclusion. So the premise is white cops are biased against blacks. That's the premise, and that's the one everyone's like, yeah, that's an opinion. The hypothesis is, well, is this actually true? Because if we have a look at some of the evidence and some of the precedents, legal precedents, whatever, it would appear to question that premise. And then the synthesis is where you say, well, when we look at this and when we look at this together, when we synthesize these ideas, we get a conclusion. The conclusion being that the thesis at the beginning, the premise outlined that police are biased against blacks, isn't true. And within 4 minutes, I mean, how much can you read in 4 minutes? A page? He was getting people giving him a lot of stick because they didn't even want him to add this, to do this research.
Now we're going, well, I don't believe these results. He's using regression.
And the consequence of this upon Roland Fryer is truly remarkable.
You know, I lived under police protection for about
police
30
protection?
40 days. I had a 7-day-old. I was going to the grocery store to get diapers.
People, this is the left. This is the BLMs of this world. These are the Democrats of this world. If you dare threaten their income streams, their revenue streams, if you dare threaten their narratives, you end up under police protection because they want, even if they don't want shot of you, they want to show to other people, don't go doing that because your life will never be the same again.
With the armed guard. It was crazy. It was really, truly crazy.
This is sad.
The need for police protection, it's truly remarkable that this can occur at a university like Harvard.
At Harvard, people.
It was a really phenomenal experience.
And then there's a choice point where it's like, do you continue on voluntarily or do you return to safety?
There are a lot of people, many people, and this has been a realization for me over the past few years of my own life, who faced with that exact decision point would make the opposite choice.
By and large, people will take the path of least resistance.
Yeah.
Majority of the time. It's easier to be foolish than to be wise. It's easier to just go with the flow and not follow the truth when inconvenient. And he made the decision to continue on.
So I set up ride-alongs in Camden, Philadelphia, Houston, some places in Massachusetts to ride along with the police.
There is something uniquely.
Did you hear that? He decided, he contacted loads of old Bill and said, can I sit in your motors when you're doing your jobs? So I've got the evidence. It's largely sort of, police records, court records. Can I get in some of your cars and see what actually happens on the street? This is while he was under fucking police protection as well. And he didn't back down. He wanted to find the truth.
Difficult about what they do. And I think he articulates it well right here.
And we get a call for a potential overdose in a row house. It's an abandoned building. We bust in. A person dies within 6 feet of me. And it shook me up a little bit. And so I looked at the guys I was with and I said, yo, how about beers on me?
So I don't know if you've ever seen anyone die of an overdose. It's fucking hideous. It's just not nice. It's totally unnecessary. Most drug addicts have been sexually abused. That's in my experience of 2022 rehabs. There's also been people who've been sexually abused that don't end up drug addicts. So, it's a bit of correlation and causation there, of course. But to see someone die because they've continued to abuse themselves because of their childhood. And he said to these gathers, look, I'll buy the beers. Let's go and have a drink and just, chill out for a bit and listen to what the copper says.
And they said, what do you mean beers are on you? I said, I don't know. I don't know how to say it. Do you want me to speak in Greek? I mean, I don't know. It's beers are on me. We should leave here. Let the paramedics take over. We should go. And they said, we got to go back to work.
And it was in that moment that he realized, like, they just do this over and over again because someone has to.
Man. And I said, but we just saw somebody die. And the police chief overheard me, and he was incredulous. He says, Roland, if I gave everybody a break every time someone died, I wouldn't. No one would cover the shifts. And I was like,
That's
wow,
crazy.
It is a hard job.
And just say, I'm going to follow the truth regardless of what happens. That's a very powerful thing.
What is it inside of you? What can everyone here learn about what allowed you to make the opposite choice? To make the choice that would force you to suffer all of the consequences you would come to suffer, some a direct result and some adjacent to it.
I don't covet what they covet.
I mean, the response to the study in this case is just as important as the study itself, the way people reacted. Many people that do not want this to be true will listen to this, will listen to his words, and just simply will not believe it.
And I tell my undergraduates every year in the final lecture of my undergraduate classes, each one of them, the key to Harvard is get a great education without letting this place change you.
You could argue that the end result was the ideal outcome, because now the story has reached millions of people. This is the remarkable story of Roland Fryer.
Let's get
Whoa. I mean, it's shocking. Absolutely shocking. Right, a couple more super chats have come in. That's very kind of you people. Let me have a look at John Few says, I'll do a £20 one-off, mate. Don't worry. Cheers. Nice one, John. Hang on. Grego dropped £9 in. Do you think academic institutions are even fixable? Like, how do you begin unpicking the long march? Well, what I would say, Grego, anything apart from STEM, you don't need to go. You don't need to go. If you need like nuclear reactors and laboratories and uranium, and you know, if you need that sort of stuff that you can't have in your bedroom, you need to go to a university. But don't think that even STEM fields. Do you remember we made a video about it a few years ago? STEAM. So it's STEM with art in it. And what does art? What when they say they're shoehorning art into it, they essentially mean social justice. So you can't even get away with that. But if you want to learn the history of art, if you want to learn art, if you want to learn sociology, if you want to learn philosophy, any of those things, the internet is a better place than a university. The one thing you will miss out on a course, so is group dynamics and friendships. But then you find other places like these streams. We've got a 10-year-old community here. But yeah, I think the universities are over. I think the private sector will likely replace universities. There'll be laboratories that you can hire, and you can get a group of people together, and you can go to the laboratory which has got someone there who, you know, a co-facilitator and a facilitator that can help you, you know, work out what all the stuff is, and you can actually learn. But yeah, for sure, you know, it's a bit optimistic, but maybe 20, 30, 40 years the universities will come back. But at the moment, most of the things you could learn, the internet is a better place for it. It's just unfortunate that some courses require certain apparatus and other things. Good question, Grego. Good question. Right, a slight change of what's the time now? Hour and a half. I've got to knock it on the head shortly, people, but you're going to love this one. If you didn't see it already, it's Behrens. He made a video 2 days ago. It's an 18-minute video. We won't watch all of it because it's Behrens content. But if any of you have donated over on the Buy Me a Beer link in the description, I will get your video replies done after this video. But this is something else, and there's what I find interesting about Bering's video here is the relationships between the people involved. You know, the difference between what they say and what they're communicating. I don't know if you know this, but when people are communicating, only about 10% of that communication is spoken language. 90% of it is facial expressions, hand gestures, where you're looking, all the sort of stuff we saw in that street fight that we just watched. So check this out. Because it's Bering, there's going to be loads of adverts in it. I've got nothing against that. Got to earn a £1 note, haven't you? But check this out. This is Bering's video, and it's called "My Girlfriend is a Dog." It's him and Tits. I'll tell you what, have you ever seen Tits? Bering's missus is an absolute salt. She is of the yellow persuasion, which doesn't help me anyway. Crack on. My girlfriend is a dog.
We've got ourselves a Love Don't Judge. This should be a fun one.
Ooh, Love Don't Judge.
Love Don't Judge. Now, this one features Australians. I like featuring Australians. So remember we did My Girlfriend is a Cat?
Oh, God, yeah, I remember.
Well, this is the Australian sequel, My Girlfriend is a Dog.
Okay. I don't understand. If you want a dog, just get a fucking dog. Wait, no, they want to fuck the dog, don't they?
Yeah.
Okay, don't get a dog. No.
We've got a quick sponsor, then we'll get right into it. Let's go.
No, we haven't. One thing I want to say before we watch this, and because I know that the average age of a scrub is between 40 and 50, give me a 1 in the chat if you've noticed this. The fact that, look, I understand that teenagers, 17, 18-year-olds and early 20s, they're going to experiment with their sexuality. They're trying to work out who they are. But they also seem to think they've invented sexuality. They think that their parents never did a sex. They think that their parents were just missionary style. Young people see their JPs, the old ones, they think they've discovered sex, and they think they're really, they're really sticking their fingers up to the adults. No, we do sex and it's really weird. I tell you what, my first girlfriend, who was 16 when I got with her, I mean, I was 18, so, but the things we got up to, and we thought we were proper, we were pushing boundaries, we were going nuts with it all. And then when you get a bit older, 2 things happen. One, you realise people have been having sex forever. And 2, sex isn't really that much of a thing. It's not, the media makes up, the amount of movies that you see when they get home and they fall over and they're knocking things over and the fucking table breaks and they're humping and the music's playing. Where in truth, sex isn't really like that. Sex is often humiliating because you're like, oh, fuck, I've got cramp. Hang on a minute, love, I've got cramp. Hang on. The reality of sex and the representation of sex is very, very different. And in this video, you're going to see it's I kind of admire the arrogance of youth, but at the same time, it is cringe as fuck. So let's get past Bering's advert. And we'll get into it.
Viewers can get a free 2-week trial by...
And she dresses up as a puppy.
Now, I've stem split this. I've taken the music out because I just find it's funnier when you don't have that dramatic music.
Oh, yeah. The music that makes you empathise with them like they're not freaks.
Yeah, it's like, remember Kitchen Nightmares with Gordon Ramsay?
Yeah.
The American one had all the do-do-doom, ring shit in the background. But then you watch the English one and there's like bugger all music and it's just like, it's more effective.
Yeah, it's more serious.
Hey. Hang on, what do you want on your brick? You want SE5? Is that what you want? Confirm that, AAA. I'm sure Pack will keep an eye on it for me, and I'll write it down in my little book. Thank you, mate. Amazing.
Put what you want in speech quotes.
Yeah, there you go. Put what you speech quotes or speech
quotes,
marks.
whatever. Them,
You're all right, Packer. You're good at what you do, mate. All right, nice one, AA. Aprasha Kanatu. But let us know in the chat. You don't have to do a super chat. I will keep an eye on it. But let me know what you want to write. What you want me to write.
It's got a serious tone to it.
Yeah, and what I like best.
So Sheila, sex sells. This is one of the biggest myths of marketing. Sex doesn't sell. Connection sells. Now you can sell connection via sex. One of the best adverts ever was I think it was the Meat Marketing Board. And there was a couple who had another couple over for dinner. This was like an 80s advert. And they're eating steaks, right? And the music is, it's like the food of love. And so while it's very much about, these two, the two people we're trying to matchmake are really getting on, but they're getting on talking about meat. And so there is an element of sex there, but it's the connection because they're talking about how good the steak is. So the idea that sex sells is a bit of a myth, or connection sells. That's what it's all. All humans want to feel like they belong, even outsiders, even outliers. What do they want to belong to? What do they want to connect with? Other outsiders. So sex can sell, but only when it's within the sort of context of connection. And, you could argue that. I'm not necessarily right, but that is a thing in marketing. Anyway, roll VT.
He wants the whole quote, Chris.
Feel like the awkwardness.
Yeah, although I do like some of the sound effects, like, these crab cakes are shit.
Yeah.
How we play is really like an all the time thing for us. Some friends will be like, why would you do that? That's really weird. I get creepy comments that disgust.
So look, is she a dog or is she a slut? Now, I've said on this channel before, one of the biggest mistakes that long-term couples make is refusing to treat their missus like a whore. Now, I am being deliberately provocative with that comment, but, there's blokes that are impotent with their wife, right? They've been with them 10, 15 years. They cannot get it up. They go and see a prostitute. They've got an erection before they've even got on the fucking tube to get to the prostitute's house. And it's because they've forgotten what it actually means. And they don't want to treat their wife in the same way they did when they met them 15 years ago. So this isn't a question of, that don't look like a dog. That looks like a 16-year-old nymphomaniac. A dog would be in a fucking furry suit, licking its fucking balls. And a dog is a dog, not a bitch, by the way. How many dogs do you know wear cropped tops like that and a fucking, Japanese sex fringe?
Me, but I'm not disgusted with who I am.
Can we just call a spade here? She doesn't want to be a dog. She wants to be a slutty dog.
Yeah, it's a kinky dog thing.
Yeah, it's a sex dog.
There you go, a kinky sex dog. Okay, AAA. Sorry, people. Let me just write this down. He spent 20 quid. He deserves to get it. AAA's brick SE5. Okay, it's going to go down in the book of bricks. A brick SE5. Gotcha. Nice one, AA. Prasha Kanatu.
You never see any of these people dress up like a real shaggy dog or something.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly. Like Bearing and Tits on the screen at the moment. Do you know what I mean?
No, for the majority, not. But I must say, I have seen this one Japanese guy who's paid like thousands and thousands of dollars to make a full-blown dog suit.
Oh, yeah, I did see that.
He goes to the park and stuff.
See, that's not a kinky sex thing. This is definitely a kinky sex thing.
Oh, yeah.
Riley's both of our friends, and
yeah, I'll tell you a quick story. That bird Ganya, who is the sort of like the love interest in my other novel, she was a brass for years. And once this Japanese bloke said to her, you know, will you come back to my house? And, you know, she was a brass, so she knew what was going to happen. Gets back to her house and he's like, do you want a drink? She's like, no, I'm all right. And he puts a 2-litre bottle of water in front of her and says, drink that. So she's trying to drink it. And he's like, no, drink more. And she's like, I can't. I don't want any more. 10 minutes later, go on, drink more. And she couldn't. And then after about 10 minutes, he said, do you need the toilet? She went, nah. And he's like, drink more. In the end, after about 3 hours, he'd got her to drink 4 litres of water. And then he's gone to her, do you need the toilet? And she said, actually, yeah. So he took all his clothes off and got in the bath. And he said to her, right, straddle over me in the bath and urinate on me. Like, and she, you know, she's a very clever bird, and so she knows that this is ridiculous. But you know, the Japanese John's pay an absolute fortune, and so she started doing her bit, and he got really angry, and he went, "No," he went, "It doesn't smell enough. It doesn't smell enough." And he just give her like £1,000 and told her to fuck off. It didn't smell enough. Jesus. Well, it was water. Maybe you should have given her brake fluid or something.
we thought it would just be...
Right, so because I spoke all over that, and this is what this is all about, they've brought their straight friend round to introduce him to their kink, which is, again, this is very immature. You know, couples, if you want to kink it up, I've got no problem with that at all. But involving someone else in it, it's a little bit like, look how cool we are, look how adult we are, look how sexually advanced we are compared with you, you virgin.
About time to invite him over and show him the whole puppy play thing. Me and Henrik's relationship, obviously I know that I'm also a human, but I'm also his dog.
I mean, look, could you not get the most sort of simple, straight bloke ever to witness this nonsense?
Woof woof, take to the park.
Now, Riley is like pretty normal. I empathise with Riley because he's got these two kooky friends who have invited him over. And she's like, oh yeah, I'm a dog.
Yeah, look at his face there. He's got lemon face. He's like,
Yeah.
Are you serious, bitch? You know this is fucked up, right?
But the weird thing is, although he's obviously a very straight bloke, he's also very intelligent. And I would guess that he knows exactly what's going on. Okay, you two want to pretend that you're really out there, you're really weird, you're special and different. And he's probably just thinking, I ain't buying it. This is embarrassing. If you were really out there, if you were really wild, you wouldn't need me here.
This is seriously weird and creepy.
I cannot fathom just the idea of it.
Right,
I'm Lola, and this is my...
Look at the bloke. Look at the dog owner. How much do you reckon he's actually into this? I mean, she's just playing out father issues without a doubt. She was treated bad. She felt like a dog when she was a kid. And I don't mean to be brutal, but there was almost certainly some kind of what we have to now call SA. He hasn't got any of that. He's just like, well, she's kind of pretty, so I'll put up with it. Hopefully she'll grow out of it. Maybe I'll get her neutered.
My partner, Henrik.
See what I mean? How much better is it without all the dramatic music behind it?
Yeah.
It's like truly awkward. You get a sense of how awkward it must have been filming this.
Is there a part of you that thinks Henrik is just going along with this shit?
Yes.
I mean, look at him.
Yeah.
He barely says 2 words. He looks super awkward. He basically just looks like he's happy to be having pussy or dog or whatever. She wants to be a dog. Henrik's going along with it.
Yeah, he's like, I think I'm batting above my average here.
No, she's found someone that she can essentially, what is it in psychoanalysis? That's transference to her father, without a doubt. You know, he's kind of aloof. He's not really that interested. She's just going to keep upping it and upping it and upping it. And he just won't really give a shit. And that's what she's doing is recreating her experience of childhood. But in this instance, she feels like she's got a bit of control over it rather than being the passive person in the situation.
Yeah, I'm just going to go with it.
Yeah.
And I love being his puppy. We first met at a little cafe together that we both worked at.
I guarantee you that cafe was in Fitzroy. Or Brunswick or something, you know, in a suburb of Melbourne, something like that.
A cat cafe.
Yeah.
I was always kind of a puppy, and he knew about that before we started dating. But it did take.
I'll tell you what, if I went to Battersea Dog's Home and that bird was in a cage, I'd say, yeah, go on, I'll have her. I'd leave all the staffs and that and say, how much do you want for that one? Have you got any more like this?
Take me a while to kind of like properly open up to him with it.
Oh my
God. Yeah, I'm not sure if dogs dance like that.
God, she does dog TikToks.
Yeah. Well, she does dog content, she says later.
Oh.
So there's probably an OnlyFans involved here.
Oh, there always is.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think she confirms it. I sort of skimmed over it. But yeah, there's dog content involved. But like I said, you notice it's always like, I'm a dog in a mini skirt taking a photo where you can see down at my tits or something.
Yeah, I've got the lowest cut top on.
Yeah.
I've got the choker with the little heart on it. I don't put a fucking choker with a heart on it on my dog. It'll make him look stupid.
Yeah, it'd make him look super gay.
So right now, Henrik's making me some food in my dog bowl and putting some water in there so that I can have a drink and have a little snack. Ever since I was kind of little, I've had like a connection to the whole like dog, like wolf.
Yeah, because of your father or your mother, but almost certainly your father. I mean, I know people who do this kind of stuff, but they eat dog food. There's none of this fucking, this is so sort of superficial. She's got a couple of what dog wears a heart choker? She's reliving out trauma, but she's got a bit of control over it, which makes her feel a little bit better about what happened to her as a child. I'm not digging her out for that. We all find coping mechanisms. I've been a drug addict most of my life. Okay, I get it. But it's kind of sad because she doesn't really need boyfriends and friends colluding with her. She needs some help because somewhere along the line, once this fella leaves her, she's going to end up with a bloke and he's going to absolutely ruin her.
Thing like when we'd play like house as kids, someone would be the mom, someone would be the dad, and I'd be the dog. But then once I turned 18 and I got to research into some different things, I was like,
oh, she's one of those dogs, right? That sort of sexy dog.
Oh, this puppy play thing, that kind of is rad as hell. Maybe I'll try that. And then ever since, I've been super like attached to it.
First time Lol ever asked me about it, I was a bit like, oh yeah, sure, we can try that.
It was very nerve-wracking to ask him.
See how reserved he was? Yeah. We can try that. It would have been like pretty cool, like 1 or 2 times. Yeah.
I can't help but think that bloke just wants a girlfriend, and this ain't gonna last. This relationship, not at all. It's already on the way out.
Yeah, cool. Dress up like a slutty dog. I'm all for it. And she's like, okay, I'm doing this fucking full time now. You got to feed me bananas in a dog bowl.
Yeah, bananas, not dog food. I wonder
Right.
if she's barred from eating grapes and avocado.
An onion.
Yeah.
Honestly, wasn't very surprised. She kind of just does act like a dog a lot of the time.
I mean, usually that'd be a really offensive statement, wouldn't it?
Yeah, bitch.
I wonder if he can call her a bitch.
Yeah, he probably can. It's lovingly, though.
My girlfriend is a bitch.
Puppy play is really like an all the time thing for us. It just kind of works into.
See that photo?
Ah, the old fishnet dog.
Yeah, that's like I'm a dog and I'm about to suck your dick.
Yeah.
Please, bitch, please.
Yeah, I'm a slutty dog. Come on. I mean, not that she's hurting anyone. I don't have any, like, real problem with this. I think she's a fucking loony bin. And he's, like, going...
I do have a problem with it because she is hurting someone herself.
Along with it, because he's like, well, I don't really want to break up with you because I probably won't get anyone better. You know,
Yeah.
you're pretty hot. But yeah, this is mental.
She's wearing fishnets.
Yeah, what kind of a dog wears fishnets?
Every single part of our relationship. So sometimes he'll just be like giving me head scratches and I'll like nuzzle into his chest or
Okay.
Lick his face.
Well, I'm going to stop it there because it is Bearing's content. If you want to watch some more, go and check out the whole video. But what is interesting for me for that last little comment there, when she says, you know, sometimes I'll nuzzle into his chest and he'll stroke my head. What you've got there is look, I haven't got the full story, but I know a fair amount about psychoanalysis and semiotics. The thing is, as a child, she was almost certainly not loved. She was certainly not stroked. She was certainly not cuddled. She was certainly not told that she was lovely and, you know, the basics that parents should do to children. So what she's done now, because she hasn't got the self-esteem to expect to be loved, to expect her lover to cuddle her, to expect her lover to lay down in bed with her and stroke her hair. She can do it as a theatrical thing. It's a performance. So she can say, tonight I'm going to be a dog. Can I nuzzle you? Will you stroke my head? Because she doesn't feel that she deserves actual human intimacy. And the problem with that is that's not moving beyond childhood trauma. It's maintaining it. And the problem with that is as you get older, because your brains start hardwiring to this sort of stuff, she'll never be able to accept actual intimacy and actual love. And the problem with that, she will almost certainly end up getting with blokes who want to smash her about, who want to kick her, who want to punch her, who want to strangle her, because that's better than nothing when you don't think you've got the self-esteem to actually deserve love. And that's tragic. And I would also say this isn't just her. This is a whole generation that social media, that the coof, that the promotion of narcissism in our culture, you know, look at all the pop stars. I'm rich, I'm famous, I'm successful, I'm great. You know, all that sort of stuff leads into this. And a whole generation of people who don't feel loved, who don't have any self-esteem, they end up in dysfunctional relationships where they continually get hurt. And then they have children. What's the problem with that, you may ask? Well, because this shit is passed on to the children, not genetically, just behaviorally. You know, when you see your parents doing this sort of stuff, oh, that's how you show intimacy. And you ask why the West is crumbling. Well, there you go. Shocking. Really, really sad. And indicative of a far bigger problem. I'm gonna throw a bit of a curveball at you here, people, if I can. Here we go. That's the one. We'll do that. We'll do that. Ladies and gentlemen, that's the end. It's only been 2 hours, but I haven't been sleeping and I want to get some writing done now. I want to thank everyone who donated. Don't forget, Bricking It is going to be going on for about 6 months. So if you want to make a £20 deposit, you can do it on the buy me a coffee link in the description. Even when the streams ain't on, just let me know what you want on the brick. Thanks to everyone who donated yesterday. Thanks to everyone who donated today. Thanks to all of you for engaging. The Glorious House of Scrubs, you're, you know, one of the best if not the best community on YouTube. You know, I do read the comments. I can't always reply to them because obviously I've got things to talk about. Packer, I'll let you go, mate. Give Packer some love in the chat, people. Look after yourself, Packer. I'll have a little chat with you afterwards, mate.
Cheers,
Ta-da!
Chris. Cheers, Scrubs.
Let Packer know you love him, people. The missus, I don't think she's coming back till Sunday, so you might get another stream tomorrow, but it depends how much the writing's going. If it's really flying, I'll probably be able to get one in because I've enjoyed these last two. Look after yourselves, people. I will be putting your comments on the screen while the music's playing. And I think I've got a funny feeling the tune I've got for you is going to bring back some memories from the COVID era. Sorry, I don't know what you want to call it. So I hope you enjoy this. I'll be putting Arklow's dropped to 10 spot at the last minute. He says this. I was at a retirement do yesterday, had a chat with a lad I hadn't worked with in 8 years. He's become based as fuck. Very gratifying. Keep reaching out, people. Yeah, for sure. I'm seeing this in my life as well. Arklow, do you remember I said years ago that I fell out with two of my best mates because they just thought I was a nazi? Well, they're on the turn now, and it's quite incredible. One of them, in fairness, said, you know, he said, I think I was a bit hard on you back in the day, but he said, anyway, this is your comment, not mine. So that's a great call. Nice one, Arklow. It must have felt great for you as well. Yeah, and it's a good point, people. Keep reaching out, but do it in such a way where you're not attacking them, you're not telling them you're wrong. You're just sort of saying, what do you think about this? Get specific. Ask, like those videos we showed yesterday with Bogosian. Well, why do you think that? Well, everyone knows it. But everyone knows what? And just be gentle with them and you'll be surprised. People actually like to learn things. People are actually, it's that I don't know thing. It's like, hang on a minute. Actually, I've made a massive assumption there. And if you can tease these things out of people, the West may well just survive. Great call, Arklow. Here we go, people. This is a little song you might recognise from the COVID era. This is going to be amazing. I haven't heard this in fucking ages. As soon as you see it come on the screen, you're going to go, no way. Here we go. Wow. Anglo, sorry to hear that, mate. Yeah, of course. You've been exceptionally generous over the years. Sorry to hear that, man. That's fucking awful. I'll have a look for the email. We'll work something out for sure. Wow. Awful. That's kind of that's really sad. All right, people. Look, I'll probably see you tomorrow. Look after yourselves.